Hey guys, our decline here, average picker. We're on task for playing LOCKTOSS probably tonight. So I thought we'd do a little bit of a pre-game show. Got about 16 entries, and I will put a list at the end of this video of all the names. And if you spot that I left you off, just pop it in the comments and say, hey, what about me? So, and if you're a late entry or something, just go back a few videos. I'll try to, if I remember, I'll put a link to it in the comments. But you go back a few videos, find the giveaway, and put in on it if you want to, listen to it, because there is a little bit of criteria. And I thought it'd be interesting though to take a look at, because I did ask you guys what your favorite non-picking thing is that you use when picking, and yeah, we got some neat stuff, and not a whole lot of surprise either. I kind of suspected a lot of these were going to be the case. So, a lot of you mentioned your phone. William Mansell also mentioned a little optic light, and that's pretty interesting actually, because I have contemplated for quite a while getting a little tiny optic light. I just have not pulled the trigger on it yet. It hasn't been 100% necessary, I guess. Though there's been cases where I kind of wished I could backlight through some of the locks or down into them, especially with like the EVA 3KS and things like that. Just trying to get in on those sliders. It's not something I've really ever like. The dimples, those sliders are giving me kind of a hard time. So yeah, a lot of phones again. Leon of Leon's Lockpad, he mentioned his jeweler's loop, and I thought that was an interesting one. When I was getting my, when I was doing the pins, I wanted a lamp, like a magnifying lamp thing, and I contemplated a jeweler's loop for a moment. I wondered if that would work better or less, and at the end of the day I decided, let me just get a lamp maybe, and we'll see how well that works, and it's working really well. And if we want something a little more magnifying, maybe I will look into a jeweler's loop. So yeah, Squint, his flashlight headlamp. So yeah, and I've done that before in the back room when I've been lock building. Lockmania mentioned his dog, and that's kind of funny. Just because my dog probably keeps me from picking. I love her to death, but I will sit down to start filming or something, and she's like, hey, let's go out and play. If you got time to pick a lock, you've got time to run around aimlessly in a field and stomp through some mud and jump into some puddles. Steel Pinnings, Dremel, yeah, there is a point, I think, where when you're doing lock picking and you get into this and you just, a Dremel just becomes a necessity. I mean, it really, really does. If you're going to get past, I think, any of the basic picking at all, eventually you run into a point where you need the Dremel. Bronx Lockpicker, his head magnifying with lights. Yeah, and I looked at those similar to the jeweler's loop. I'm assuming it's like one of those like little pull down kind of units. And I had contemplated that. Ultimately, I went with the magnifying lamp, though. Having a little mocha, of course. Sazpez, he has an IKEA gray pot stand that he uses for a pinning tray. And yeah, I've picked up a lot of just, I don't know, knick-knacky side bits here and there in different places, mostly the Restore that I've used as pinning trays. I pick up little things like this. I've got some stuff in the back room that are similar, and I just use them to hold files and everything, and it works out really well. Southampton Lock Picking Club, he requested not to be entered and said phone and laptop. So yeah, I think you're doing videos, that is definitely a must. So we do have about 15 entries, I think. I think it was 16, and if we exclude Southampton Lock Picking Club, then we have 15. So you guys got a good chance to win, unless all of a sudden there's an influx of very late entries. Pocket Women, and I think I have just now for the first time realized the last part of your name there is pluralized. I think I've been calling you Pocket Woman for a minute, and it's women. So I feel like there's a little interesting story there. I want to point out too, her and Paola, they also, I did a thing on where are the women in lockpicking, and they made some excellent posts, and unfortunately you can only pin one comment. I pinned the longest one, but definitely worth going back. And I may do a follow-up video on that. Sorry, and just explore a little bit of what they said there. You know, their insights are far more valuable to a topic such as where are the women in lockpicking than say mine is, just because they are our women in lockpicking. So Don's Lock, he has a 40 kilogram scale. Yeah, I have run across the street several times and borrowed my neighbor's. I probably need to pick one up myself. It's kind of an out of the way item that you do still find some use for and a lot of stuff. Cameron Dunn, his lamps and printer. Yeah, I agree there. I don't know if you mean by printer your 3D printer or not. I know a lot of guys out there, they're doing the 3D printing, like lock holders and pinning trays and things like that. Strummy has a sorting box. Yeah, I've got way too many sorting boxes. In fact, I'm starting to need a sorting box for my sorting boxes. Nathan Franks, his phone. Again, that was a very popular one. Thumper, his knife. Yeah, I've got several just laying around, and unfortunately, I abuse the crap out of my knives. A lot of the tips end up getting broken off because I tend to use my knives sometimes to pry things open, which isn't the best, not the best use of them. But that's, you know, I only tend to have knives that I find are very incredibly cheap. So one of my criteria for a lot of things is I not care about it. Because I find when I have a knife or something that's really good quality like that, I tend to not want to use it then, and that kind of defeats the point of having that as a tool. And I think that translates a little bit over even into picking, because I'm much more prone to be very kind to the picks I've purchased, and I use the ones that I have made and just abuse the crap out of them. And if I need to jam a pick in to something and I'm not sure what's going to happen to it, I will go for one that I made, which is a little odd because if I was to break down, you know, my time that I put into making them, technically those are the more expensive picks, and the ones I'm buying are cheaper. So unless I undervalue my time into the negative, for whatever reason, things I pay direct money for, I tend to care for them a little bit better than things I put my time and effort into, which is a little backwards. And Bear's back. He has a cheap clip-on light. So yeah, I've got quite a few lights, quite a few phones, and jeweler loops or other magnifying devices on there. So there we go. That is what we got for entries. And we should, with any luck, unless something crazy happens, be playing some LOCKTOSS tonight. And I don't want to give anything away, but let's just say that there's been an upgrade to the LOCKTOSS, and so yeah. And I can't remember who. I just now responded. I'd missed their question. Gosh, who was it? Was it William? Lockmania? It might have been Lockmania. Somebody asked, what is a LOCKTOSS? If you go back a ways in my videos and find my last giveaway, you can find the video of us playing LOCKTOSS, and it's essentially a board with numbered point spots on it, and my partner and I, we each draw a name at random, and she plays for that person and I play for the other person, and we throw locks and score points, and whoever gets the most points moves on into like the next bracket until there's only one winner. In this case though, we're going to have two. We're going to do a follow-up. So yeah, that is LOCKTOSS. Did some weird stuff. The last time was a test run on LOCKTOSS, and it was quite fun, but I think the video is a really mushy video. There should have been cleaner edits and cuts in between who we were throwing for and things like that. So we're going to try to put together a more amateur level video this time. So hopefully it'll be a little more, the better segmented up. And like I said, I'm quite excited. The LOCKTOSS board has gotten some upgrades done to it. Hopefully we'll still be within the spirit of just cheap and crappy and cardboardy, and I guess kind of what, you know, my channel I feel like in some ways is built on cardboard. Even though I don't use them for the entrance or for the intros anymore. So yeah, there we go, guys. That was just a quick little update. So LOCKTOSS probably tonight. The video will probably be up late tonight, tomorrow. And we'll get in touch with each other, and I'll get your prizes off to you. And yeah, there we go. You guys have a good one.